The Chicago White Sox made it 3 in a row as they beat the Los Angeles Dodgers on the South Side Tuesday night by a score of 4-0. Michael Kopech was absolutely amazing. Reminded me a lot of his outing in New York. He definitely had his very good stuff going. Sox offense had a big sixth inning, getting clutch hits from some of the guys that have been carrying the Sox as of late. The bullpen was rock solid, and the White Sox looked to get back to 500 on Wednesday night.
You are Locked On White Sox, your daily Chicago White Sox podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, Sox fans, welcome to Locked On White Sox. Thank you for making Locked On White Sox your first listen each and every day. We're free and available on all platforms. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Locked On Sox. Also, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Just search Locked On White Sox. Today's episode is brought to you by Blue Nile. Make your moment sparkle with jewelry from BlueNile.com. And Locked On Sports listeners get $50 off purchases of $500 or more. This podcast exclusive includes engagement. Use code Locked On at checkout. Hey, I'm your host, Nick Morawski, a lifelong diehard Chicago White Sox fan, recording this podcast just blocks from the ballpark in beautiful Bridgeport. You can find me on Twitter at Nick_GGTB. I really appreciate you letting me steal some of your time to talk White Sox. Locked On White Sox is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Hey, if you didn't hear, Steve Stone celebrated 40 years in the broadcast booth. Going to talk about that in a bit. The White Sox are finally finding some consistency in certain areas. But first, the Sox win, and what an outing by Michael Kopech. State of your White Sox, 26-27. White Sox still chasing the Twins, but are now in a tie with Cleveland for second place in the Central. What a game Tuesday night. Sox take down the Dodgers 4-0. They've now won 3 in a row. You know, coming into the game, it had a David versus Goliath feel. If you looked at some of the numbers from the Los Angeles Dodgers, pitching, hitting, one of the best teams in all of baseball. They can do it all. An impressive array of numbers. Now, the Sox did have, a little 2-game winning streak going. And, sometimes with that off day, you felt like maybe things cooled off, hoping that Kopech would return to form. A lot of hope, right? And would there be some consistency? Would Tony La Russa and the Sox management learn from what happened on Sunday and try to replicate that? A lot of question marks. Dodgers this year have been so impressive, 35-19 coming into the game Tuesday, plus 113 run differential, 18-9 on the road. And coming into Tuesday's game with the Sox, they were 5-5 in their last 10. Just impressive stuff. Offense was ranked number 1 in all of baseball. However, ranked number 18 during the month of June. So that kind of gave you a little bit of hope. White Sox ranked 19th in all of baseball in the month of June. This season, the Dodgers slugging .428. Again, their offense is just tops in baseball. And especially when it comes to pitching, they're pretty good as well. Number 2 in all of baseball when it comes to some of the pitching numbers. Number 16th, though, in all of baseball in the month of June. So Dodgers scuffling a little bit in June, but still up and down that lineup was impressive. We sent Michael Kopech to the mound, and he did not disappoint. Not a lot going on in this game for a while between both teams offensively, back and forth, a lot of goose eggs. Kopech started out with an extremely clean first inning, 1-2-3, got Betts to strike out, and then a pair of ground balls handled well by Danny Mendick at shortstop. Only 18 pitches for Kopech in that first inning. He was hitting 98 miles per hour. A pretty quick second inning as well. I don't know if you noticed if you're watching the telecast, Kopech looked at his hand, kind of rubbing his fingers a little bit. I thought maybe there was a blister. Thankfully, that wasn't an issue. No hits, 3 strikeouts, 32 pitches through 2 innings. In the third, 2 more strikeouts. Another fairly clean inning. Stone commented on it, and it sure looked that way. Michael Kopech had his plus stuff going. Just 1 walk through 3 innings. Now, remember, the last start Kopech had in Toronto, this is where he struggled. He only went 3 innings in Toronto, had 4 walks, 6 hits, 5 earned runs. But Tuesday night, he had it all going. Sliders, fastballs, very few curveballs. But remember that Toronto game, he was on the shelf for 9-10 days, something like that. He was out of his rhythm, and we were hoping, get back on that 5-day cycle. And boy, he did not disappoint. 4th inning, gave up his first hit, and he was also called for a balk. So this is where sometimes, the frustration could come out from a guy like Kopech. And it was really nice to see him settle down. Okay, I gave up, my first hit, got called for a balk, no big deal. Got out of the inning with 0 damage. 5th inning, Kopech locked in once again. 8th strikeout to end the inning. He was at 85 pitches. I was wondering, maybe does he come out for the 6th? Really happy he came out. And it was going to be his last. You had a feeling, and he went out with a bang. Another clean inning. Betts was 0 for 3 against Kopech, and Kopech ended up throwing 98 pitches. So his final line: 6 innings, 1 hit, 0 earned run, 1 walk, 8 strikeouts. Mentioned those 98 pitches. 62 of them were strikes. First pitch strike to 10 of the 20 batters he faced, and 13 swings and misses. Just outstanding. Absolutely outstanding. Mirrored that New York game for sure. Good to have him back. 7th inning, we saw Lopez. He gave way to Bummer. Bummer's been pitching really well lately. Big strikeout to end the 7th. A lot of excitement from him and McGuire as they head back to the dugout. No damage done. 8th inning, you had Graveman, and 9th, Hendriks comes to lock it down. So bullpen solid, just what we needed against a very, very tough ball club in the Los Angeles Dodgers. So great to see Michael Kopech bounce back. Pitchers, they are creatures of habit. So him getting back on this 5-day rest, it was great to see. I mean, he's building up quite a little resume here this season. In his first season in the big leagues, in that consistent starting role, we've seen flashes in the past, hampered by injury. It just was a wonderful night for Michael Kopech. Hey, Danny Mendick was back in the leadoff spot again, and Yaz finally sat on the bench so a red-hot Jake Burger could be the DH. I'm going to tell you why consistency matters. More on that in a moment. Whether you're ready to pop the question or you're celebrating a milestone moment, find jewelry as unique as her with the modern convenience of online shopping at BlueNile.com. Blue Nile has simple online tools that let you choose the diamond shape, size, and clarity, as well as setting style. Blue Nile's bench jewelers will then handcraft her perfect engagement ring. Each ring is one of a kind. Looking for fine jewelry but having trouble choosing? Blue Nile has jewelry experts on hand 24/7. Available via phone or chat to help you find a memorable gift at every budget. Make your moment sparkle with jewelry from BlueNile.com. And Locked On Sports listeners get $50 off purchases of $500 or more. This podcast exclusive includes engagement. Use code Locked On. That's code Locked On. Plus, every order is insured, ships free, and arrives in discreet packaging that won't give away what's inside. Shop stress-free and find your forever piece. Go to BlueNile.com today. Hey, we've been talking about this survey here. We got a very important favor to ask you. We've put together a survey so you can learn more about, so we can learn more about listeners like you and make your favorite Locked On podcast even better. This is your opportunity to tell us what you like and don't like about Locked On Podcasts. Go to lockedonpodcast.com/survey right now to get started. It won't take very long, and everyone that completes a survey can qualify for a chance to win one of 10 $100 Ticketmaster gift cards to take our audience survey. Just go to lockedonpodcast.com/survey. So I don't know about you, but it was nice to see some consistency, starting to get into some habits now. I feel like this is progress. This is how you change your fortunes, not just simply doing the same thing over and over, expecting different results. You got to set guys up for success. And Tony La Russa, I don't know, he's starting to learn. Somebody's telling him something, or maybe he's figuring it out on his own, but it was great to see Danny Mendick in that leadoff spot. You know, when with TA coming back, hopefully soon, he's, I think, starting a rehab assignment next week, which is awesome to hear. When TA comes back, I would really like to see Danny Mendick at second base, and I know I'm not the only one. Lot going on with him this last few games, and he had a really good game on Tuesday. You had Andrew Vaughn back in that 2-hole, so Danny Mendick, Andrew Vaughn been pretty consistent for the last 3-4 games. Robert hitting third. The goofy one is Gavin Sheets in right field. I just didn't understand why you've got Sheets out there. I guess it's because a right-hander was on the hill. When you got Engel and Pollock on the bench, you know, it's Pollock's old team. He wants revenge. And boy, he got it. We're going to talk more about that in a moment. Berger getting to DH instead of Yasmani Grandal. That was a big one for me. Jake Berger had such a wonderful weekend in Tampa. You could see, you know, almost a weight lifted off of his shoulders. The articles that have been written recently, hopefully you've had an opportunity to read some of it. He is relishing these opportunities as he should be. He has fought so hard to be where he is at, and I'm so happy to see the results that he's getting. So, yes, if you got Moncada at third, Berger's not going to play second. What are you going to do with him? He better be DHing. You know, what we've seen in the past is McGuire will be behind the plate, especially with Kopech on the mound, and then you'll hit Yaz. I'm sorry, not with a hot burger. And it was so great to see Yasmani Grandal on the bench. I don't wish him ill. He's not a hot bat at all. It's Jake Berger, and I'm glad he got the opportunity. Coming into the game, Jake Berger had recorded the game-winning RBI in the last 4 victories. First White Sox player to accomplish it since 1974. So yes, Jake Berger has to be playing. And I mentioned McGuire was catching, and it sure seems like he's Kopech's personal catcher. And then you had Josh Harrison in the 9th spot at second base, and just the disaster of Josh Harrison continues. Poor guy. I don't know what to do with this guy. Hopefully he figures it out, but I feel like once TA comes back, you can shift Mendick to second. I think Harrison's time is done. Some quotes from Tony La Russa I was reading before Tuesday's game. This is kind of what he said about the Sox. You see what our record is. At this time, it was 25-27, but we've got guts. We like to compete, and we're tough enough. We've got to execute better, no doubt about it, but the talent is there, and the toughness is there. This is what La Russa said on Berger. He's just gaining confidence, and he's a hungry hitter. He doesn't give any at-bats away. I've been saying it all along. He's going to be a big hitter for us. Okay, well, it's good to see him getting some playing time. Got to maximize those opportunities. White Sox offense, not a lot going on through the first 4 innings. We were getting no hit. Mitch White was throwing a perfect game. Mitch White for the Dodgers, he wasn't, lighting the world on fire. He was 1-1 with a 4.18 ERA coming into the game, but he pitched well. We got to their bullpen eventually, but had a little something going on in the fifth inning. Jose Abreu led off with a hit. Sheets grounded out. Berger gets hit by a pitch. So you got 2 on with 1 out. Mancada with a hit. Bases loaded for McGuire. He worked a count to 3-2. McGuire stares at a 95-mile-per-hour fastball right down Main Street. I could not believe it as I was watching it. And then Harrison's up with the bases loaded. Just a pathetic at-bat. Strikes out, and that's the end of the threat. Sox were 4 for 37 with the bases loaded coming into the game. 29th in the league. They went 0 for 2 on Tuesday. Yes, there are, even with what an amazing win on Tuesday against the Dodgers, there are definitely things that need to be cleaned up. And hitting with bases loaded has been a problem for this White Sox team. If you're wondering what Josh Harrison did, he didn't do much in the game. Last 7 games, he's 3 for 22. So sixth inning is where all the magic happened for our White Sox. Danny Mendick gets on to lead off the inning, and it was really great to hear some of the praise that Steve Stone was giving to Danny Mendick. Dan Victor talked about it on yesterday's episode. Danny Mendick has had to grind, man. Nothing has been handed to him. He has had to prove that he can play and maintain a certain level of playing. And you're seeing it not only with the glove, but now with the bat. And it's awesome when you're not just getting an opportunity every 3 or 4 games coming off the bench, maybe cold for a pinch hit, or maybe it's a Sunday, lineup, a getaway game, but you're the everyday guy. We're calling upon you, and he is answering the call. Abreu followed up Mendick's hit, pushes one through the right side. So you got Mendick on third, Abreu on first, David Price in the game. Pollock pinch hits for Sheets. Thank you, Tony. Absolutely the right move. And Pollock gets the job done against his former team. That must have felt great. Berger follows up with a double, and then McGuire keeps things going. 4-0 Sox. Wow, 9 guys come up to bat in that inning. That was awesome to see. And now you're starting to get a little bit of momentum. You're starting to get some consistency. Guys with smiles on their faces, picking up other guys. You get a sense of comfort almost, I get a sense, with this lineup. And I would love to see Pollock in that lineup starting on Wednesday. But we shall see. Some very important moments in White Sox history. I'm going to talk about that. And Steve Stone, I don't know if you heard, celebrated his 40th anniversary in broadcasting. I'm also going to tell you why the White Sox have a great chance to make it 2 in a row against the Dodgers. More on that in a moment. I want to tell you about Athletic Greens. I've been taking AG1, their flagship product, for a while now, and have noticed improvement in my overall metabolism, better sleep, and I just feel better. So what is this stuff? With one delicious scoop of AG1, you're absorbing 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food sourced superfoods, and probiotics to help you start your day right. This special blend of ingredients supports your gut health, your nervous system, your immune system, your energy, recovery, focus, and aging, all the things. Athletic Greens has over 7,000 5-star reviews, is recommended by professional athletes, and trusted by leading health experts. It's cheaper than getting all the different supplements yourself. You're investing in an all-in-one nutritional insurance. Right now, it's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition. It's just 1 scoop in a cup of water every day. That's it. No need for a million different pills and supplements to look out for your health. To make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/MLB network. Again, that's athleticgreens.com/MLB network to take ownership over your health and make the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. Hey, betonline.net is your number one source for all your betting stats and sports info. Find all the latest sports developments, news, and odds, including this year's basketball championship matchup, the NHL Hockey Conference Finals, Major League Baseball, and of course, all the latest fighting news from MMA and UFC to boxing. BetOnline is your continued source for all your sporting wagering information, including live betting, esports, and more. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more about all the trends and action. Bet Online, where the game starts. So, some news and notes. Of course, the big to-do on Tuesday was Steve Stone celebrating his 40th year in broadcasting. He spent so many years on the North Side, came over to the Sox, though, eventually, and partnered with Ed Farmer in the radio booth. He took over for Chris Singleton, which that was a tough listen, Ed Farmer and Chris Singleton. And it was so nice to hear Farmio and Stone in the booth. That didn't last very long because Steve Stone then went to TV and joined Hawk, I believe the following year, and flip-flopped with DJ. Darren Jackson went to radio. And, that was a tough situation. Stone had talked about it, kind of coming into Hawks territory, Hawks side of town. And it was like two personalities clashing a little bit and a little icy at times. I felt like Stone had so much more to bring to the telecast, and it just, Hawk wouldn't have it. So it was nice when Benetti came in, and you were wondering, well, Benetti's a younger guy bringing all this analytical stuff, and I really like, they've got a nice relationship, you could tell. And Stone brings so much to a telecast about pitching, and that's what I value so much. Nothing against DJ necessarily, but I personally, as a fan, really like the pitching insight. And we've had so many young arms come through the Sox system as of late. And to hear Stone break down their mechanics and talk about in-game adjustments, that's wonderful. And I do hope Stone and Benetti can stick around for a while. It sure seems like Stone wants to continue his days, and it doesn't sound like he's interested in any other team. So it was a nice moment throughout the game. They definitely had a lot of downtime to talk about Stone's career and some great sound bites from folks from all over the league. Want to also talk about a couple moments from June 7th. So Tuesday, June 7th, a couple important dates in White Sox history. Harold Baines was drafted number 1 in the 1977 amateur draft, June 7th. And on June 7th, 2010, Chris Sale was selected 13th overall. So back June 7th, 2010, Chris Sale joined the White Sox. He rose quickly. I don't know if you remember those years. He rose quickly through up to the big leagues and had some wonderful seasons. Ended up tearing up some jerseys in 2016 and was traded in the offseason, and the rest is kind of history. It was interesting on the anniversary when Chris Sale was drafted by the Sox. Michael Kopech was on the mound, and that's who they were essentially traded for. I found that kind of interesting. And again, we can talk about Sale's career, I'm sure, at another moment, and who won the trade, who didn't win. We are still waiting for that World Series ring. Boston got what they needed, and we're hoping now what we saw on Tuesday night with Kopech and the resume he's starting to build, that we've got something in this guy for a few years to come for sure. Wednesday, Johnny Cueto goes for the White Sox. Now, Johnny Cueto has seen the Dodgers quite a bit since he has played a lot of his career in the National League. Cueto is 9-9 with an ERA of 3.76 and 122 strikeouts in 24 appearances versus the Dodgers in his career. Faced him last year when he was with the Giants, did fairly well. Cueto this year with our White Sox has got an ERA of 2.92 and 19 strikeouts in 4 appearances this season. White Sox have got their work cut out for them. Dodgers throwing a tough one at us, and Tony Gonsolin. So we'll see. Hopefully the Sox make it 2 in a row against the Dodgers and 4 in a row. Thank you so much, folks, for making this podcast part of your daily routine. You can find the Locked On White Sox podcast absolutely everywhere you find your podcast. We are on Twitter and Instagram at Locked On Sox. You can find me on Twitter at Nick_GGTB. Thanks for making Locked On White Sox your first listen. Now make your second listen Locked On MLB. Paul Francis Sullivan, just call him Sully, brings you his unique perspective on the major leagues past and present. It's free and available wherever you get your podcast. Really appreciate you making time for the Locked On White Sox podcast. I'm Nick Morawski. Until next time, go Sox.